Have you ever noticed how your mind never stops talking? Even when you're alone, trying to rest, there's that constant voice in your head, planning, worrying, reliving, analyzing. And here's the hard truth. Most of us are never fully here. We live in stories about the past or projections into the future, and in doing so, we miss the only thing that's actually real. Now. This is the quiet but radical message behind The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's not a book about achieving success. It's not about fixing your life. It's about waking up from the mental noise that's keeping you stuck. Because maybe your thoughts aren't your truth. And maybe you don't need more answers, just more presence. So if you're tired of chasing peace and never quite finding it, stay with me. This might be the silence your soul has been waiting for. A few years ago, I found myself in a strange place. From the outside, things looked fine. I had a job, goals, a routine, but inside, I felt anxious, disconnected, always, elsewhere. I'd wake up thinking about what I didn't finish yesterday, and I'd spend the rest of the day planning tomorrow. Somehow I never actually lived today. Then one night, I picked up a book someone had quietly recommended. Not loud, not flashy, just a plain white cover with gold letters. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I opened it, expecting tips, strategies, something motivational. But instead it asked me a question that stopped me cold. Are you always waiting for something to start your life? And I realized I was. Waiting for a better moment. A better version of me. A future that never arrived. That was the beginning. Not of some huge transformation overnight, but of noticing, of watching, of becoming just a little more present. This book isn't about adding something new. It's about peeling away everything that's false. It's what's real can finally be felt. Let's explore what that actually means. So what exactly is the now? According to Eckhart Tolle, the now isn't just a moment in time. It's not the second-hand ticking on a clock. It's the only thing that actually exists. Everything else, your memories, your worries, your plans, is just thought. Mental projections of what was or what might be. But life itself only ever happens now. He writes, nothing ever happened in the past. It happened in the now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will happen in the now. It sounds simple, obvious even, but our minds don't live there. They're constantly resisting the now because the ego feeds on time. Tolle introduces this idea of psychological time, the kind of time where you're mentally stuck in guilt, regret, or anxious anticipation. You're not just thinking about the past or reliving it. You're not planning your worrying. In every second you're lost in that. You're absent from the moment that matters. That's why he says so many of us are unhappy. Not because of what's happening, but because of how our minds are interpreting it. We don't respond to life. We respond to the noise in our heads about life. Here's a simple example. You're drinking tea. It's quiet. But your mind is replaying a conversation from yesterday. You miss the warmth of the cup, the taste, the presence. The now is peaceful. But your mind pulled you into a storm. The deeper point is this. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. That still, quiet presence that notices everything but doesn't get trapped in it. When you return to the now, you return to that awareness. That's where peace lives. So how do we go deeper? It starts by understanding what's keeping us out of the now. And that's the mind. It's the ego and the false self we've been living through. Let's talk about that next. Now let's talk about the ego. Not the I'm better than everyone kind of ego, but something deeper, quieter and way more powerful. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle defines the ego as your false self. It's the identity you've built from thoughts, your history, your opinions, your roles, your fears. And here's the key. The ego needs separation to survive. It needs to feel different, better, worse, right, wrong, admired, rejected, anything that reinforces me versus them. It's always comparing, defending, proving, and it's always anchored in time. Your ego lives in the past, replaying what happened, holding on to pain, retelling stories about how you were wronged, and it obsesses over the future, chasing achievements, building identities, fearing what might go wrong. But what it cannot tolerate is the now, because in the now, ego becomes irrelevant. When you're fully present, you're not a story. You're not your job, your failures, your plans. You're just awareness, alive, still. And the ego finds that terrifying. That's why the mind will do anything to distract you. Have you ever sat still for a moment, no phone, no noise, and suddenly felt restless, uneasy, even panicked? That's the ego, losing control. Tolle writes. The ego is always concerned with keeping the past alive, because without it, who are you? That question might sound unsettling, but it's also an invitation to step outside the prison of thought and to discover who you are without the story. And here's the magic. You don't have to fight the ego. You don't need to crush it or defeat it. You just need to watch it. When you become the observer of your mind, not the follower, the ego loses its grip. Try this sometime. When a negative thought pops up, I'm not good enough, or this always happens to me. Don't argue with it. Just notice it. Say, that's a thought, not the truth. This tiny shift in awareness is the beginning of freedom. And once you start observing your thoughts, you can begin to reclaim the peace that's always been there beneath the noise. Let's go even deeper into how presence can actually dissolve suffering. So how does presence actually set you free? Tolle says. Suffering doesn't come from your situation. It comes from your resistance to it. Think about that for a second. You're not stressed because of a long to-do list. You're stressed because you don't want it to be long. You're not in pain because someone said something cruel. You're in pain because your mind is replaying it over and over, building meaning, defense, outrage, identity. That gap between what is and what your mind says should be, that's where suffering grows. And presence closes the gap. When you come fully into the now, without judgment, without labels, without resistance, suffering begins to dissolve. Why? Because most pain is created by the story you're telling yourself about the moment, not the moment itself. Let's say you're sitting in traffic. Your body is fine, you're breathing, you're safe, but your mind is racing. This is wasting my day. Why is this happening again? I should have left earlier. Now you're frustrated, anxious, angry, not because of the car in front of you, but because you've left the now and entered mental time travel. But what if you just return to the moment? It's the sound of the rain, the sensation of your hands on the wheel, the breath moving in and out of your body. Nothing needs to change except your awareness. Tolle writes, whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. This isn't about giving up. It's not about pretending you like everything. It's about dropping resistance so you can act from clarity, not reactivity. Presence gives you space, and in that space, suffering can't survive. It's like stepping out of a storm, not by changing the weather, but by realizing you don't have to be in the middle of it. And here's the deeper truth. Peace is not something you find later. It's something that arises when you become fully here. Let's go even further into one of the most powerful parts of this book, how presence helps us heal deep emotional pain. Now we enter one of the most fascinating and challenging concepts in the book, the pain body. Eckhart Tolle describes the pain body as an emotional energy field, a kind of ghost of old pain that lives inside you. It's made up of every moment you were hurt and didn't fully feel it. Anger, rejection, grief, shame. It doesn't live in your conscious thoughts. It lives in your body, and it wakes up when triggered. Ever overreacted to something small, snapped in traffic, felt deep sadness out of nowhere? That's likely your pain body surfacing, hungry for attention. Here's the twist. The pain body feeds on drama. It wants conflict. It wants pain. Because that's how it stays alive, by pulling you into unconscious reactions. You yell. You spiral. You regret. And afterward, you say, that wasn't me, but it was. It's the pain body. So what do we do with it? We don't fight it. We don't bury it. We bring presence to it. Tolle says that when you feel emotional pain rising, you can choose not to identify with it. Instead of saying, I'm angry, you say, there's anger in me right now. That tiny shift changes everything. Because now you're not inside the emotion. You're the space around it, the witness, Tolle writes. The pain body cannot survive in the light of presence. And that's true. When you bring awareness to your inner pain without judgment, without resistance, it begins to lose its grip. Try this. Next time you feel a wave of sadness or resentment, don't suppress it. Don't indulge it. Just notice it. Feel where it lives in your body. Watch it. Breathe into it and say to yourself, this is pain. It's not who I am. It's energy moving through me. Over time, you'll notice the pain body gets quieter. You'll respond instead of react. You'll become less defensive, less explosive, less drained. Healing doesn't always mean feeling good. Sometimes it means feeling deeply, fully, and consciously, until the wound no longer defines you. That's the power of presence. It doesn't just help you function better, it helps you live freer. Next, let's explore how this presence shifts your entire experience of time, change, and surrender. Let's talk about time, not clock time, but psychological time. This is one of the most transformative parts of the power of now. The idea that our obsession with the future is a form of suffering. We say things like, I'll be happy when. I just need to get through this week. I'll relax after the next achievement. Sound familiar? But that mindset traps us in a constant state of waiting. We don't live, we postpone life, Tolle writes. Unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. We try to control life by planning, pushing, and projecting. But the now doesn't need to be controlled. It needs to be me-tas. It is. And here's where a beautiful concept comes in. Surrender. Now, surrender doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means letting go of inner resistance. It means saying, this is what's happening. I accept it. I'll respond from peace, not panic. Tolle reminds us. True change only happens through acceptance. You can't shift what you hate, you can only shift what you've made peace with. And the paradox is this. Once you stop fighting the moment begins to move. Once you accept your stuckness, something inside starts to shift. This is transformation, not forced from the outside, but allowed from within. Think about a heavy emotion, grief, shame, frustration. What if instead of trying to escape it, you breathed into it? What if you let it move through you without adding a story? That's surrender. And from that space, something new can emerge. A deeper strength, a quieter clarity, a willingness to be exactly where you are, Tolle says. Whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world. So stop waiting to be peaceful. Be peaceful now. Stop waiting to be free. Let go now. The now doesn't ask you to be perfect, just present. Next, let's get practical. What does living in presence look like in daily life? So how do we actually live this? How do we bring presence not just into quiet mornings or meditation, but into daily life? The answer: one moment at a time. Tolle doesn't offer hacks or routines. Instead, he offers small conscious shifts. Like this: when you're washing dishes, just wash the dishes. Feel the water. Notice the movement. Be there. When you're walking, feel your feet touch the ground, the air on your face, the space around you. When someone's talking, listen without waiting to reply. Listen as if nothing else matters. These little moments are sacred. They break the cycle of unconsciousness. Tolle also suggests using anchor points, simple triggers that bring you back to now. For example, use your breath. When your mind spirals, pause and take one conscious inhale. You've already returned. Or try this. Every time you walk through a door, ask, "Am I present?" This doesn't mean your mind will stop. It just means you're no longer lost inside it. You'll still think, plan, feel, but you won't be ruled by it. You'll start to respond instead of react. And life becomes clearer, lighter, even when it's hard. Presence isn't about escaping life. It's about entering it fully. Tolle says, make it a habit to ask yourself, what's going on inside me right now? That one question asked often enough can quietly change everything. Now let's close with a gentle reminder of what this journey is really about. So here's the truth. You don't have to fix your whole life. You don't have to find all the answers. You just have to return to this moment again and again. That's where your peace lives. That's where your clarity waits. That's where you truly are. Not in the past, not in the future, but here. The power of now isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been beneath the noise. If even one part of this message resonated with you, take a deep breath right now. Feel it, let it land. And if you'd like more videos like this, more quiet truths, more books that awaken, subscribe to Read and Done. Let's keep growing gently together. Thanks for watching. Be still. Be well. Be here.